everyone. We hope you enjoyed your meal. It looks like most people have finished, and the stroke of noon is coming up. So we are going to start this event. And again, I'd like to welcome everybody. The chamber is pleased that we have the mayor and the county commissioner with us. And at this point, I'd like everyone to stand and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Well, we definitely have more important people to speak than I, so I will invite Jack Chambers up to the podium and we'll get the show started. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Great turnout as usual. The Chamber thanks you for your continued support. And maybe if I could digress just a second, what would a gathering of Missoula business people be like without thinking about Hal Frazier? And I'd like us all to take just a second, think about Hal and all the wonderful things that he did for this community. So we could have a moment of silence. Thank you, Hal. We want to thank our first speaker today is Chair of the County Commissioners, Gene Curtis, and I have Gene's bio. Gene has lived in Missoula County her whole life. She and her husband have lived in the West Side since 1977 in her grandmother's house that was purchased in 1935. She was raised in the Swan Valley, north of Sealy Lake, and graduated from Sealy Swan High School. Jean attended St. Patrick's School of Nursing and the University of Montana. Jean Curtis was elected for her first term Missoula County Commissioner in November 2000 and was re-elected in 2006. Jean believes that government can and should be reasonable, sensible, and responsible, and works to ensure that local government is accessible to its citizens of Missoula County. Before being elected county commissioner, most of Jean's professional work was in the area of early childhood education and advocacy. Jean has a strong sense of social justice and is pleased to stand for those without a strong voice. She continues that advocacy as county commissioner and while serving on more than a dozen county boards. Jean is a 2006 graduate of Leadership Missoula, which we have a few of those in the audience, and has held leadership positions in many organizations, including Montana PTA and the National PTA. Jean served 4 years as Montana PTA President and Executive Director. Jean is married to Brad Curtis, and they have 3 grown children, Shane, Pamela, and Kevin, and a splendid granddaughter, Sarah. 2 granddaughters, Allison and Lily, and in her spare time she likes to read, quilt, garden, and spend time with the family, especially those grandkids. Let me just give you a quick overview of what we're going to do. We'll have 2 speakers, but at the end we're going to do it a little different than we have in some years past. What we're going to ask you to do is each table is going to talk about what you've heard or maybe what you haven't heard and want to ask. And maybe if each table could come up with a question or 2, and then at the end we will field those questions to ask our 2 presenters. And I say 2 questions because probably if we go through or partway through the room, we'll have duplications of questions you may have. So try and come up with a couple different questions would be good. Without further ado, Gene Curtis.
Thank you, Jack. Good afternoon. I am pleased to be here today to give the annual State of the County address. First, I'd like to make sure that you know that we have two newly elected county officials. Carl Ibsen is our new sheriff, and Aaron Lipkin is our new county superintendent of schools. I don't think they're with us today, but they're already hard at work and making exciting changes in their departments. I'd also like to recognize my fellow commissioners, Michelle Landquist and Bill Carey, who are here today. I don't think any of the other elected officials got away, but we have quite a few county staff throughout the room. We are in some lean times, and lean times should inspire us to take an even harder look at our operations and our customer service. Missoula County is in the midst of some exciting changes that will make our operations more efficient and enhance our customer service. We're focusing on accountability, sustainability, and efficiency at Missoula County, and I'm glad to have this chance to share those efforts with you. Times are tight, but that doesn't mean Missoula County isn't financially sound. They say the key to success is to surround yourself with smart people. The county commissioners have an amazing senior leadership team that helps us take an honest look at revenue projections, future needs, and the cost of providing services. That team helps us to safeguard the taxpayer dollars by developing and maintaining a strategy of conservative fiscal management. Some economists have projected that Missoula is heading out of a recession, but we believe Missoula County government is heading into one. Let me tell you why. During the slowdown, we saw a decrease in many development-related activities like clerk and recorder fees, building permits, and subdivision review. We were able to make adjustments to the budget to reflect the decline in those activities. These included a reduction in staff in all of those offices. Luckily, most of this reduction was accomplished through attrition and reassignment. We also held the line on mill levies, more so than most counties. The county requires departments live within their budget and maintain at least a 5% reserve for their department each year. To help you understand how budget works, here's an example. If a department's budget is $100,000, and with good fiscal management they only spend $98,000, they are not penalized for that savings. The next year's base will be the same. The $2,000 becomes cash to fund one-time expenses, which means there is no incentive for a department to spend down their budget each year. In fact, there's an incentive to save. So we use those one-time fees. You can buy a desk, but you can't schedule that you're going to have a person to sit there without ongoing revenue. It's also important to note that the county doesn't use that one-time money to fund those ongoing expenses. Local and state governments across the county are experiencing record revenue reductions, and some are forced to balance their budgets with one-time revenue. We disagree with that approach and have maintained fiscal financial stability with very limited tax increases during this recession. Unfortunately, we've been predicting for several years that we are facing a decline in property tax revenue growth. The growth in property tax revenues is largely based on new construction, which creates additional tax base. But it takes about 2 years for a new building to end up on the tax rolls. So therefore, we're running right now on the high end of things before things went downhill. So this will affect our provision of core services such as roads, public safety, and public health. Additionally, there are decisions being made in Washington, D.C. and in Helena to cut funding for programs that provide important services in our community, such as road, bridge maintenance, infrastructure projects, economic development, services to seniors, tobacco use prevention, just to name a few. So what does that mean to the citizens of Missoula County? It means we'll be facing tough budget choices for the next few years. In the last couple of fiscal years, we made cuts, but we were able to maintain the same level of service. Future budget discussions will have to include prioritizing programs at the expense of services. We'll also have to consider whether mill levies need to be increased. We are not at our cap. We can increase if necessary. We have prepared for this eventual downturn, and the county is well positioned to handle it, but it will not happen without sacrifice. We have maintained strong cash reserves, even improved our credit rating, and we held the line to the extent possible on mill levy increases. As county commissioners, we take this role very seriously. We want the community to participate in our budget discussions and help us prioritize the critical services. Our budgeting process will begin this spring. We'll send out press releases and post budget documents online as often as we can, because we really like your input. Space needs. In looking at the future, we have identified the sectors of county government that are projected to grow. Unfortunately, it's law enforcement and courts. Those that need more or different space, and those that will see efficiencies through the use of technology. Our department relocations, our remodeling projects, and building projects reflect those future needs. 2011 will mark the year that we begin to implement space needs planning efforts that have been underway for the past several years. When our neighbors at Garlington Lawn and Robinson decided to build their beautiful new building across the street from the courthouse, it provided us with the opportunity to acquire their old facility right next door. Once we're done with some minor renovations, in April we intend to move most of our administrative services to that building, including the county commissioner's office. For those of you who didn't get to attend the Mayor's Economic Partnership kickoff this morning, we definitely have a new beautiful jewel in the crown of downtown. This will allow for the renovation of the courthouse and the courthouse annex, which we hope will begin in earnest this summer. These renovations will bring about much needed expansion to District Court, Justice Court, Sheriff's Office, and 911. We'll have 6 full-service courtrooms and functional jury rooms to serve District Court and Justice Court, and they'll be sharing spaces. As those of you who have ever served on a jury know, that's much needed. The Sheriff's Office will take up the entire 2nd floor of the courthouse annex, and will have enough room to run their operations for the foreseeable future. All of Vicki Zier's operations as clerk and recorder treasurer will be centralized on the 1st floor of the annex, including motor vehicle transactions, document recording, and voter services. The election center will continue to be at the fairgrounds at times when there is an election going on. It gives it more room, has free parking. The election workers have more space to keep the operations more secure and better organized. The commissioners will have a new large public meeting room on the 1st floor of the annex. It will double as the emergency operations center in the case of a large emergency. We look forward to having a meeting room that will better accommodate the needs of the public. Our administrative public meetings held Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings will be in the new administrative building. Emergency services and 911 will expand to the entire basement of the annex. This will house the new dispatch center and emergency operations meeting rooms and training rooms. Fred Van Valkenburg, our county attorney, will expand his operation for the entire floor of the courthouse annex, the 4th floor. The county commissioners, along with County Auditor Barbara Behrens and other administrative departments like Finance, Human Resources, Information Services, will move into the new administrative building. We'll also begin renovating a portion of space at our warehouse that's out by the mall. You might remember it as the Pepsi warehouse. This will become our record center and will provide much needed space to the public for historic records research. This will be the first time we've been able to dedicate space to the public to access thousands of historic documents that we're proud to preserve, many of which are for every county in western Montana, which all used to be Missoula County. We expect to accomplish all of these changes for about $15 million. We believe it will solve most of the space needs for the next 20 years. When our 2000 bond issue for a public safety building failed, we immediately set to work to develop our next plan. Before the recession, our original plan called for the construction of a new public safety building for $22 million and a new administrative building for $15 million. By purchasing the GLR building, I've lost my place, that needs only minimal remodeling, we're able to shave an exciting $22 million off of that $37 million project. And we still meet the goals of our original space plan. We've already secured over $8.5 million and hope to finance the difference primarily through current resources. We're thrilled that our friends at Garlington have created that beautiful new asset and enabled us to maintain the core of our services in downtown. These renovation projects will be the first test of the county's new green building initiative. Last year, the commissioners passed a resolution requiring LEED certification on all major construction projects. The goal of the project is to promote local materials and to improve energy efficiency for long-term financial and environmental sustainability. We expect this will represent 1 or 2% of the project cost, but we will be able to recapture this cost in long-term energy cost savings. We're excited to join entities such as Missoula Federal Credit Union, Garlington Lawn and Robinson, and the University of Montana in sustainable building practices. In addition to saving $22 million in capital improvement costs, the county is going to save money in interest expenses. I'm pleased to announce that the Missoula County received our first standalone rating from Standard & Poor's rating agency at a AA- level in 2010. This means issuing debt without having to purchase insurance to enhance the rating. To achieve this in this current economy was nothing short of amazing. The analysts judged the county not only on its financial strength, but also on the quality of its leadership and management. This AA- rating from Standard & Poor's will only improve as the economy recovers and Missoula County's leadership maintains its conservative fiscal management style. These actions will save Missoula County taxpayers millions of dollars in interest expense from future debt issuance. In 2010, the commissioners designated Missoula County as a recovery zone as enabled by the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009. This designation allowed Missoula County to act as a conduit for 5 separate businesses by providing low-interest tax-exempt financing through the ARRA program totaling $7,221,000. This allowed local businesses to grow, even in the recession, and jumpstart the economy recovery by providing work for local contractors and new jobs in these expanded businesses. We are also doing some things in the area of software. We're looking to technology to improve accountability, sustainability, and efficiency throughout the county. The backbone of this will be the implementation of an enterprise-wide electronic content management system. At the most basic level, this system will provide the infrastructure to manage the documents generated at the county. As you know, we're responsible for most public documents, from real estate transactions in the clerk and recorder's office to the court records of district court. Currently, the county has approximately 33 million paper documents, not to mention millions of others that are on microfiche. The ECMS will allow all of our future documents to be assessed electronically by staff and eventually the public via the internet. Not assessed, accessed. While we don't have the budget to digitize all of our historic documents, we do hope that all new documents will be electronically archived with this system. Additionally, the system will help us automate the workflow of many processes like applying for a job or tracking a permit. ECMS will also enable the county to make these documents easily available on our website. This should speed up our processes, foster communication among departments, and most importantly, provide better access to information by the public. We intend to issue a request for proposal for ECMS this month, with the first process conversions happening this summer. We are also transitioning to a new financial management and taxation system. This system will help us increase accountability and efficiency in all departments. The efficiencies gained by not shuffling documents through multiple employees in various levels of management will save an estimated 1,500 employee hours per year. The new system will also give our grants, public works, and facilities management staff the ability to track their projects and grants in real time. They'll be better able to plan and manage large grants and projects with more accurate, timely cost-benefit analysis. There are a dozen more features in the system that offer additional benefits, but most importantly, it'll be easier to access and share information with the public, both from a customer service standpoint and ultimately online. Our Public Works Department is excited about some new technology too. 15 of our 20 snowplow and patching trucks have been outfitted with GPS tracking hardware, with plans to expand to 20 trucks in the coming months. Public Works vehicles use about 100,000 gallons of fuel every year, with the lion's share going to plowing snow, as we know this winter. Gathering information from the GPS will allow managers to retrieve snowplow routes for efficiency, to review them for efficiency. Improved routes will be able to reduce the amount of time trucks are idle, which in turn results in lower fuel costs, greater productivity, and fewer greenhouse emissions. Eventually, we hope this information will be available to the public, which means on a snowy day, you can see when the snowplow might be getting close to your house. It also is a safety issue, as we have people that are, 80 miles from town, and we'll be putting them on our our building inspectors' vehicles. We have had people pull a gun on a building inspector that didn't have any cell service, so we'll at least know where they are. Now they'll have cell service too. Based on strategic planning efforts around information technology, the county is looking at moving from a PC environment to a virtual desktop environment. We spend about $150 each year on PC replacement and about $300,000 every 4 years on desktop software. Virtualizing desktops and moving our servers to the cloud warrants closer examination. Our IT staff estimates savings to be in the neighborhood of $715,000 in the first 5 years for hardware costs alone. This will free up a tremendous amount of money that can be used to offset ever-increasing operational costs. As you can see, we're working hard to make county functions more efficient and accessible to the public. We're in the middle of planning and implementing a lot of changes, and we hope you'll notice the difference in the coming year. I don't have time to highlight the work of each of our departments, but here are a few I'd like to share with you. Missoula County and the state of Montana have some statistics that we need to change. Our suicide rate's one of the highest in the nation. The number of vehicles involving alcohol and or marijuana are high. The number of people living in poverty are high. Childhood immunizations are low, but the incidence of whooping cough is up. The price of housing for working families is high. Addressing these issues will take partnerships and education, both public and private. They are community problems and will need community solutions. We must work together. Our public health department looks at the community as its patient. What is the health of our community and what can we do to improve it? For example, we know 50% of babies born in Missoula County qualify for WIC, and yet the state legislature says they might not take the federal WIC money. We know it's important to focus on the body mass index of our youth. We know our immunization rates are too low. We know tobacco companies are marketing products to future nicotine addicts, our kids. Our city county health department is working on these issues. They've recently received 2 grants. One is for diabetes prevention program, and one that's a program that will send visiting nurses to families that have children with asthma. So we're excited about that. Director Ellen Leahy recently brought together community leaders to discuss how to reverse the trend of childhood obesity, because chronic diseases, cardiovascular, diabetes, and cancer are truly childhood onset diseases. It matters what our kids do and what they eat. Unfortunately, we continue to have to monitor cuts to these public health programs proposed at the state legislature. Rural Initiatives, on a positive note, Rural Initiatives continues to work on behalf of our rural residents and built the framework for the Cedar Lake Regional Plan the commissioners adopted this winter. We're very excited about that. Public process and community survey about parks and trails in Missoula, city and county, we did this survey together, confirmed that residents, young and old, love trails. They like paved trails, dirt trails, hiking trails, nature trails, commuter trails, any kind of trail. So continue to watch and see what we're doing on that. And Rural Initiatives on their website has a electronic newsletter that can fill you in on next steps for things. The Commission and the Fairgrounds Director are pleased to have so many qualified individuals apply for the Fairgrounds Advisory Committee. We're in the process of interviewing and appointing those members. We agree improvements to the fairgrounds have been a long time coming, and we're excited to roll up our sleeves and get to work phasing in our master plan. Our charge to the Advisory Committee will be to look at the fairgrounds with sustainability in mind. We're also excited to announce that the Clerk and Recorder Motor Vehicles Treasurer's Office will begin providing some services to residents in the Sealy-Swan area in March. When Plum Creek left the Sealy area, we had the opportunity to have some space there in that facility. And starting March 10th, on the second and fourth Thursday of each month, local residents will be able to renew their motor vehicle registration, license their dog, pay their taxes, get a moving permit, or get death or birth certificates. Unfortunately, new license plates or title work will still have to be done in Missoula at this time. So we hope this is just the beginning of providing more services in the Sealy office. Missoula County took a lead role in bringing together commissioners and economic development organizations from the 7 western counties in Montana to talk about economic development in the region. We've improved communication and coordination across these 7 counties. I also serve as president of the Bitterroot Economic Development District, which we call BRED. It's federally designated economic development district for western Montana, covering Missoula, Ravalli, and Mineral counties. We were recently awarded $627,000 for the Community Trade Adjustments Grant from the U.S. Department of Commerce. One of the exciting projects from this grant will be to develop an economic gardening strategy for the region that will support and grow local businesses. We've also been excited to be involved with the Missoula Economic Partnership, but I'll let the mayor fill you in on this initiative. On a final note, I'd like to talk about civil discourse. Sometimes we let the media color our world and influence our opinion of government. Recently, there have been a couple stories that paint a pretty negative picture of public services. I'm happy to report that in Missoula County, those are the exception, not the rule. We're fortunate to have citizens who come to us and want to sit down and look for solutions. We appreciate that, and we hope that all of you will remember, if you hear something that makes you think, what are they thinking, you'll give us a call. We enjoy talking to you about it because we believe in what we do. Thank you.